So here's a little better look at this thing now that I've got it together. So I've got, like I said, I shortened things up here now. I've got a nice little base geared up here on it, and a dust port on the end so that I'll be able to hook my dust collector up to it. Now I've been running it some and just testing it on a few pieces, and it seems to be working just great. This sandpaper, even though it's got a seam in the middle, is holding up great. And even though this is only a 1/3 horsepower motor, it seems to have enough power. You know, if I really grind into this thing, then I can stop it, but as long as I go halfway decently light, then it holds up pretty good. So, you know, probably a lot of you guys are wondering, why didn't I just hook on to the end of this motor? Well, you can see this motor's got quite a bit of play in the end, and it is only a light-duty motor. So trying to hook on to that, number one, this would end up spinning at 1725, whereas I've cut it by about... you know, this is about a 3-inch and this is about a 5-inch, so I've cut the speed down on this disc by quite a bit, therefore giving this motor a little bit more power. And this motor should last way better too, being separate from this. So the other thing too is it's awful fun to play around with just running bolts through through wooden bushings. You know, this was very simple to make and very cost effective too. So, you know, it's just a wooden pulley on the end, and you know, a wooden block with a bolt run through it. So it was, you know, pretty cheap to make. And now too, if I want to, I can actually just take this motor off, just a couple of screws holding it on, and I can take and use this motor on something else if I want it to, and then I'm not going to have to take anything apart and try to line it back up again, because the hardest part in making this machine was getting this disc running nice and straight. Once that was accomplished, then the rest of it went really quick. It was real easy to build this base like this and everything else. So what I'll do now is just I'll start it up and do a little bit of grinding on the end of it just to show you it actually working. So there is a little bit of chattering coming from this, and what it is, there's some washers separating where it hooks into it, and so you can hear them washers rattling a little bit, but everything's running nice and smooth, and you know, if I want to, I can grind away. This is a chunk of birch, so it's got plenty of power, even though that's just a light-duty motor. There we are. And you can see that there's the run-on time is just forever with this thing. So now that it's broke in here, now that this wooden block is broke in and everything's smoothed up, like, there's very little resistance from it. And if I touch the shaft, you know, I've been running it quite a little bit. The shaft is staying nice and smooth. I've dumped oil down these little holes quite a little bit, and now it seems like it's just, the wood is super saturated. And if I try to wiggle this, there's absolutely no play whatsoever in this. It's almost as good as bearings, really. I'm just truly, truly amazed at how good this works, running a bolt through a block of wood and using it as a bearing. So you guys keep tuning in. You're going to see all kinds of cool little contraptions I've got. You know, this just opened up a whole new way of doing things, and a cheap way of doing things too. And if it stands up, then, you know, who really cares if it's a wooden block for a bearing? So hopefully you guys are having fun watching. Don't forget to push the like button and keep tuning in.